And according to U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, North Korea will shut down the majority of its nuclear weapons programs within a year. Bolton's comments follow rumors North Korea was secretly expanding its nuclear facilities even after President Trump's promises that the country had agreed to end its nuclear weapons program. 38 North first claimed that satellite images proved North Korea was expanding the program, despite promises to denuclearize. 5 U.S. intelligence officials have since made similar allegations, citing an unreleased U.S. intelligence assessment of that situation. Now, Bolton replied, saying this kind of speculation wasn't helpful in the negotiation process. So for more on all of this, we're going now to Peter Kuznick. He's the director of nuclear studies at the Institute at American University. Peter, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. So on the heels of North Korea reportedly working on infrastructure at a nuclear research facility, a U.S. ambassador, Mr. Sung Kim, he's en route to Panmunjom at the DMZ ahead of Mike Pompeo's visit to resume nuclear talks. How confident are you that North Korea is truly willing to denuclearize?
Nobody really knows at this point how serious North Korea is about denuclearizing. And it's because of what we've been saying all along, that once George W. Bush put North Korea on the axis of evil, it meant that North Korea was in the U.S. crosshairs. The one thing that we believe that kept the United States from doing to North Korea what it did to Iraq was that North Korea had nuclear weapons, or was in the process of developing them, had weapons of mass destruction. The examples that North Korea uses, the negative examples, are what happened to Saddam Hussein and what happened to Gaddafi in Libya. Once they gave up their weapons of mass destruction, they were overthrown with U.S. support or directly by the United States. And so North Korea has a reason to want to hold on to its nuclear weapons. So the question is, can North Korea trust the United States when the United States gives guarantees that it will not overthrow the government there, that it will not invade, that it will not attack? Should North Korea believe them? I would love to see the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Everybody in the world would like to see the denuclearization, but we have to understand how this looks to the North Koreans and the history of U.S.-North Korean relations, especially, well, going back certainly to the end of World War II, and then the Korean War, and then the tensions since that point. And so do I think that North Korea is willing to denuclearize? Perhaps. But both sides talked about denuclearization, and we don't even know what that means. What does it mean for the United States? Is the United States going to remove the nuclear umbrella from South Korea? Is the United States going to follow through on its commitments to denuclearize before the International Atomic Energy Agency and the Non-Proliferation Treaty? Right. There are a lot more issues involved here.
So not only does the U.S. not have a great track record of keeping promises to the leaders that have disarmed, but as you said, they haven't really defined what denuclearization actually means. So then that makes us all wonder, was Donald Trump too hyperbolic then in saying that North Korea is no longer a nuclear threat to the world following the Singapore summit?
Well, North Korea is certainly less of a threat than it was before the Singapore summit. North Korea voluntarily agreed to stop testing missiles. It agreed voluntarily to stop testing nuclear weapons. And if you look at what's happened since then, there have been important steps toward understanding toward easing the conflict there. The North and the South are meeting. They're talking about opening up the industrial park. They're talking about other economic agreements. President Moon just went to Russia and met with President Putin there. And the three of them are working together, North Korea, South Korea, and Russia, and also China. So there are a lot of countries invested in this. It's not just the United States and North Korea involved. We've already seen very important progress and discussions of a lot more progress.
Okay, so there's a lot of side good that has come out of this, maybe not directly between the U.S. and North Korea exactly just yet, but many people still say that Trump is just getting played by Kim, that Kim wanted that summit because it gives him that clout, that validity that he sought. Do you agree with that?
I don't like the tone of that. We should give Trump credit for doing one of the few good things he's done as president. I find most of what Trump does completely and utterly reprehensible. But the fact that he's speaking, he created the crisis with North Korea largely himself, that's true. But at least he has now taken steps to defuse the crisis. And the situation we have now, where we're talking, where they're saying nice things about each other, the two leaders, rather than what they were doing before, which was threatening each other, bragging about who had a bigger nuclear button, and with the two countries on the verge of war. You have to remember that people like Richard Haass, the head of the Council on Foreign Relations, was saying he thought there was a 50% chance of going to war. Other experts thought it was a 25-30% chance of war. There was a serious danger there, and we were talking about a war. Trump now says 30 to 50 million people would be killed. That might be somewhat hyperbolic, but at least there was a threat of millions of people being killed. So the fact that we're talking now, that there are friendly relations, is a tremendously positive thing. So whether or not Trump was being played by Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans is not the important issue for us. The important issue is that the world is closer to a peaceful resolution of this conflict than we have been, and we're in a very, very dangerous situation before.
Okay, a great first step then to open the lines of communication, it sounds like. Peter Kuznick, Director of Nuclear Studies Institute at the American University, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.